I want to bring in NBC's Ken Dilanian at the Justice Department. Harry Litman is a former U.S. attorney, former Deputy Assistant Attorney General, and host of the Talking Feds podcast. With me here in studio is former Florida Republican Congressman David Jolly, who is also an MSNBC political analyst. Tell us more about this order, Ken.
Well, Chris, as you mentioned, they said it wasn't about the facts and the law, but they did say it was about what they believed was the weaponization of the Justice Department in bringing this case. And, you know, Eric Adams has been complaining that he got crosswise with the Biden administration over immigration, and that's why they charged him. There's no evidence of that. But that sentiment was reflected in this memo. I want to read it to you. It says, "It cannot be ignored that Mayor Adams criticized the prior administration's immigration policies before the charges were filed, and the former U.S. attorney's public actions created appearances of impropriety." That's a reference to the Biden-appointed U.S. attorney Damian Williams. DOJ officials believe he used the case to burnish his image. That's debatable. But what's alarming Justice Department officials here is the idea that the political leadership of the DOJ is ordering line prosecutors to drop a high-profile political corruption case for which they unveiled a massive amount of evidence in a speaking indictment. For his part, Eric Adams is continuing to proclaim his innocence, and he's sort of acting as if this is all over. Let's take a listen to Eric Adams.
As I said from the outset, I never broke the law, and I never would. I thank the Justice Department for its honesty. Now, we can put this cruel episode behind us and focus entirely on the future of our city. It's time to move forward.
So a couple of things about that. Number one, the case hasn't been dismissed yet. This is an order to the Southern District of New York. As far as we know, nobody in that office has carried out that order, and it's going to be an interesting question to see whether anyone resigns rather than do that. The second thing, though, is that these charges are being dismissed without prejudice, according to the memo, or will be if that's what happens, meaning that they can be refiled at any time. So the idea that he's completely out of the woods is an open question. And another open question is, how much leverage does that give Donald Trump and the Trump administration over the mayor of New York when they are trying to, for example, more strictly enforce immigration laws in what has been a sanctuary city? Chris.
Well, not a bad question, Congressman, right? I mean, what does it mean? We can reinstate these charges against you at any minute.
It's a hostage situation. Look, I think there's a lot going on. I think people are right to feel that it feels a little dirty. It feels a little transactional. It also was very obvious in its politics. Even the memo from DOJ said Eric Adams needs to focus on illegal immigration and fighting violent crime, with kind of a nod to the Biden administration letting it go unchecked. But then there is this question about what type of leverage, because it was dismissed without prejudice, which means the charges could come back. And listen, this is also Donald Trump, who faces, though largely at the state level, faces a lot of his own liability and vulnerability in the city and in the state of New York. He, I believe, his license to practice or be engaged in nonprofits has been revoked. We know the charges that have happened at the state level. He has created an ally. And I think what this also says is, not only is the Trump administration's DOJ now transactional, but what are the opportunities for other elected officials facing peril? I mean, SDNY is somebody that's prosecuted a lot of cases recently, political cases, including Republicans and Democrats. What does that mean in terms of the currency that Donald Trump now wields over them?
Harry, I think one of the extraordinary parts of this is that they didn't even try to argue the facts, the law here. What do you see when you read this order?
Extraordinary isn't the word. Singular and unique is the word. The idea that they would be doing this without any attention to the facts and the law is absolute anathema to the Department of Justice. The currency of all cases are facts and law. The idea of not judging weaponization based on facts and law is, again, anathema to the Department of Justice. An alien force has invaded the Department of Justice and is imposing rank political and, as David says, transactional considerations, and that completely corrupt and politicize the DOJ's function. This is really beyond any possible justification in Department of Justice annals dating back to all our lifetimes and before. The Department of Justice acts on facts and law, not on politics. And this is a really ugly day and a big black eye that won't go away soon.
A black eye that won't go away. What's the real world impact as you see it, Harry?
Two, I think first, exactly as David said, open season for politicians to come in and make deals and get off scot-free. It's such an important part of the DOJ mission. And then the harm enacted on all of us. If the allegations are accurate, that's what juries are for, of course. And the SDNY has just said that they had much more evidence, then there are victims to these crimes, and including clean government, corrupt, honest government. If there's open season now, that is off the table and everyone suffers. By the way, to Ken's point, the acting U.S. attorney in Manhattan is a longstanding, very credentialed pro. And we'll see whether she doesn't say, I'm going to resign now. So there could also be an immediate kind of political crisis. I'm sure she's thinking of it seriously. This is an absolute dishonorable order that she's been asked to execute.
And Congressman, there's another memo. The Washington Post reported on this. It says that the president and his top officials are free to discuss ongoing criminal and civil cases with the attorney general and deputies, something past administrations, as you know, have explicitly shied away from. They don't want that appearance of any kind of political interference. Is this a strategy of, we're going to tell you up front what we're doing? I mean, and this is the way it is.
And it can be dressed up by the people around him, this advance of the unitary executive, that there are these powers in the presidency that other presidents haven't used before, but Donald Trump is using for the first time. I think that's all garbage. I am unapologetic in suggesting we are in a constitutional crisis right now. We have seen it in violations of the Impoundment Act. We've seen it in violations of Elon Musk and security information. We're seeing it in Donald Trump's use of the Department of Justice, the transactional nature of this. But the constitutional crisis is not simply because of the malfeasance of the president. It's because of the collapse of the Congress. The crisis, we have seen malfeasance before. We have seen abuse by a president before. But a crisis did not occur because it was checked by the courts or checked by the Congress. In this case, you have a Congress that has collapsed, a Republican Congress who has said, we are going to let the president do these things. That has created the crisis. We should not be tepid about using that word. There is a constitutional crisis right now as a result of the malfeasance of Donald Trump, but the lack of accountability being exerted by the U.S. Congress.